because it's going to get deeper and deeper and deeper. So remember, what Dante sees on Venus really looks like the Garden of Eden, where it's kind of funny. Everybody is in this garden paradise on Venus, and they're nude, but they're beautiful, and everybody's got great physiques, but yet they're not, in Dante's vision, they're radiant with bliss. And it gets really, I mean, again, why Dante calls this divine comedy is because these levels of bliss are what conquers suffering, and each ascension with Beatrice to a higher planetary heaven brings on more radiance and bliss and beauty. And it takes Dante a while to regain his composure when he looks at Beatrice. Oh my God, she's even more beautiful now. And then he'll eventually go to Mars, and Mars is even higher than Venus, and Jupiter is just blows Mars away. So what Dante is seeing on the familiar planetary spheres is not what we see. Remember, what we see is a sliver of the electromagnetic spectrum, and we're barely understanding what even a hyperdimensional civilization might be. They could be right in front of us. For example, the myths of Shambhala somewhere in the Himalayan mountains are well documented, not only by Tibetan Buddhists, but some of the earliest religions in those regions describe these paradises. For example, even Padmasambhava the Buddha, who was born in what is bordering India and the Afghanistan region, is said to have come from a copper mountain paradise in the mountains of what we call Afghanistan today, which is, when the Taliban blew up all the Buddha statues in the Afghanistan region, those were markers to the Tibetans that there's a hyperdimensional paradise civilization in there, but we can't see it. So you have to think like that, right? And what Dante's describing. And my wife is telling me in mathematical code. So a long time goes by, and then she does it again.
Wait.
And it's so...
Wait, hang on. Because this is really crucial. You were not interested in this whole solar system thing until the night Crystal came to you and you matched Venus and the idea that it may be a counterpart Venus, not the one we see, but something very different.
Right. I was just, I'd done a lot of reading. I read the Shambhala myths, and I read, the mythic of the Copper Mountain Paradise of Padmasambhava the Buddha, who is a second Buddha that appears after Gautama the Buddha. And it's going to get more, it's kind of like combing your hair. I'm going to comb through the solar system, and you're going to start to see what's going to happen next. So the next time my wife does the same thing, like an opera singer, I mean, I'm just shattered, and I wake up, and our family's in Banff, Alberta on a spring break. And I have the dates and everything and the time when this occurred. And I calculate from August 9th, 591 days after she died. And she tells me what to do, Richard. She goes, just do it. Take 591 divided by the golden ratio, 1.618, 0.33987, and I get the exact orbital period for Earth, 365.258 days per year. And the decimal is just going. And I'm just blown away. Just that alone, before I continued the formula, which reveals...
Well, wait. Let's not skip over the 591.
Yeah, let's not skip over the 591. Because the 591 is 19.5 backwards.
Yes! Come on.
It's funny. If you write 591 on a piece of paper and hold it in front of the mirror, it'll be 19.5 in the mirror.
See, look, editorial interjection. A couple of years ago, looking at the images from MRO of the Jezero crater in the south part of the crater where the Perseverance rover has landed, the big, kind of like a VW on steroids with instruments and wheels and nuclear power and all that, mirror image twin of the Curiosity rover that landed back at the beginning of the 21st century. Anyway, so Percy lands, they take images before and after. We get these huge, beautiful blown blown up satellite images of the southern part of the crater, and I find a whole bunch of Cydonia-sized pyramids in various states of disrepair. Huge, huge things.
Right. I remember all this. Yeah.
And right next to them, there are another set of Cydonia-type pyramids, but they're much more human scale. They're like on Earth. I mean, the Cydonia stuff is miles on the side. The Giza stuff is, thousands of feet on the side. And what's really weird is that the images are of the belt stars of Orion, 3 stars, one offset, aligned in a certain specific geometry, both on Mars and at Giza, on the 2 different scales, but the ones on Mars of the Giza scale, the smaller version, is backward, like it's a mirror image. So I start discussing with members of the Enterprise mission team, like Andrew Curry, do we live in a mirror universe? Did some ancient super civilization, now gone from Mars, try to tell us that the reality we're living in is a mirror image of a much larger reality that got flipped, that got mirrored, that got echoed, reflected, bounced back? And there are various memorials and monuments all over the world, starting with the Mall and the reflecting pool and George Washington's monument, which are mirrored artistic versions of this potential reality. And then you come along, and your long-lost 2-year wife, 3 years now, says, David, you're living in a mirrored reality. And here are the numbers.
And here are the numbers. So you take the number 591. You can do this if you have a calculator, everybody. You just take 591 divided by 1.618, 0339, 887. It has to be that's the long form golden ratio. And you get 365.258 and lots of decimals. That's 99.999% of the exact sidereal time for Earth. Now, you have to understand, there is no such thing as 100% Earth time. We're not like a Swiss watch. Some years we're 5 minutes off. Some years we're 35 minutes off. I think the longest I've seen is we're 40 minutes off, and then you go back to only being 5 minutes off. They don't know why there are missing gravitational anomalies that they don't understand that cause these tuggings on the inner planets that throw the time off. So the fact that
they may not, but we do.
Right.
It's the fact that rotation is a hyperdimensional extension of a higher dimensional rotation, and the various vying forces, resonances, cause the periods to drift. They're not like pulsars that spin inexorably until they quake. They're subject to fluctuations because the physics is in flux. Everything is vibrating and swirling and vorticularly moving, and so the energies are in flux. It's not a constant, it's a wavy background.
Right. So, and again, but where this formula is going to reveal not only our known 7 to 8 planets in the lower solar system, it's going to reveal another bunch of planets in the upper hyperdimensional solar system. So I take the 365 number 258 and I continue dividing it by the golden ratio. You just hit the equal sign, which repeats the function, and I've got the orbit of Venus now, 225.74.
Oh my gosh.
Compared to 224.701, which is the exact Venus. I'm like almost 99% of Venus's orbit. How is this happening from a dead person, right? So then I divide by the golden ratio again, and I get this magic number, 139.516, for an orbital period of a planet between Venus and Mercury.
In our reality. There's nothing there when you look in our reality.
Well, there's nothing there when we look except for at certain periods where it interjects. And I'll fulfill this because this particular position, I want you to go to by item 3. Okay. Item 3. Click on it.
Okay.
Okay, so May 13th, 1917 is the first day of Fatima because it's the day that the Mother Mary allegedly appears to three kids in Fatima, Portugal, telling them that she's preparing them for this massive event, which will be the miracle of the sun 5 months later on the 13th of October. In fact, she appears to the kids on the 13th of the month every month until the final event. So
wait. What number did you say to go to? Because my computer's lagging.
three.
Number 3.
Item 3. Yeah, see, because
Fatima.
you see, there's item 1, 2A, 2B.
Right.
2C.
I see that.
Yeah, so you go to Fatima. Now, all I'm going to do is subtract 139 days, and I get December 25th. Everybody knows what December 25th is.
You subtract what from what? Don't leave any steps out.
The date that the Mother Mary appears, May 13th, 1917, there's a graphic that shows this.
Right.
I'm using an online software where you can add or subtract days to see what happens. I'm just subtracting the orbit of planet 139, and I come to December 25th. And
you subtracted from what?
From May 13th, 1917.
How did you get to May 13th?
That's the day the Mother Mary appears to the three children at Fatima.
No, but why are you picking that date? That's like, what would you...
No, that's you'll see why I'm picking that date. Because that's the beginning of an intervention from the other side of...
I think you lost me when you got the Earth's orbit. Start back at the Earth's orbit number, the rotation, the 365.25, etc.
No, okay, so we got to go back to my item 1. So remember, I took 591 in my calculator, divided by the golden ratio, and I got Earth's orbit, 365.258. I divided by the golden ratio again, and I got like 98% of Venus's orbit.
Okay.
I divided by the golden ratio, and I got an orbit of a hypothetical planet with an orbit of 139.51 days.
Got it.
So if I subtract that from day 1 of Fatima, which is May 13th.
You still don't know. How do you get to Fatima? That comes out of nowhere.
There's a reason why, because...
Yeah, but you're not telling me you can't get there backwards. You got to go forwards. Why did you pick Fatima?
I picked Fatima because the miracle of the sun, and this is going to require me to jump way forward to what is now, you and I talked about this, the Vanishing and Appearing Stars Project, where physicists today are revealing for the first time in mainstream media, physicists of Beatrice, by the way, Villarreal, from the Sol Foundation, and the Vasco Project, which is the Vanishing and Appearing Stars Project, who has teamed up with Avi Loeb and a whole bunch of different physicists, including Jacques Vallée, to research why astronomers on the Palomar Observatory in San Diego captured on glass plate negatives events of whole stars, which could be planets because they don't really know, that suddenly appear and then disappear. Okay. Completely vanish. Oh, they're not going in the infrared. They're not dimming down. They are gone. So my model, and of course the news broke of this years after this formula of my wife's reveals these orbital positions. And these orbital positions, planet 139.51 to 140, is going to resolve not only the events of the miracle of the sun at Fatima, but the ascension day of Christ, of Jesus, which is 40 days after Easter, when 11 disciples saw him go flying up into the sky. Now, in a new physical body that they touched and felt, and you can't breathe above 15,000 feet, people. I've been up there. I've skydived from 30,000 feet. Nobody can breathe up there. So when somebody goes flying up in the sky, they have to be going somewhere. So let's just hold that number. So I'm going to take the 139.516 divided by the golden ratio again, and I'm going to get 97 point something percent of the orbit of Mercury.
Okay, hang on a second, because Andrew Curry, who is one of our Enterprise, team is send me an email saying that there's an error somewhere. So I'm going to try to get Andrew to come on and describe
98%.
this.
No, there's just let me go.
Hang on a second. Let me make sure he hears that I'd like to bring him on, because given that this model is dependent on numbers, the numbers have got to be right. And it's not the error bars. As you said earlier, in measurement and science, everything is an error. It's not precise. You only get precise in theoretical models.
Yeah, I've 98% of the orbit of Mercury.
Well, remember, we know the solar system stuff moves. We know in our 3D universe, the planets have not always orbited at these exact distances. So,
well, what you have to kind of see is the golden ratio, 591, is
okay. And I believe Andrew is joining us.
Yeah.
Andrew, you there? I don't hear anything. Okay, it'll take a moment here. So until he joins us, continue.
Okay, so then I'm going to do this. So that's 98% of the orbit of Mercury. And then I divide it by the golden ratio, and I'm going to get another hypothetical orbit of 53.29 days to go around the sun.
Right.
And then divided by the golden ratio, I'm going to get 32.93, which is just under 33. And divided by the golden ratio one more time.
So, all right, to go back to the big